I would like to invite a senior National ISHRAE Presidential Member, Mr. Deepak Burma. Please give him a big round of applause. Mr. Deepak Verma is the sessions chair. The mic is...
To start with a little bit about the district cooling, but that I think has already been covered. I don't need to have that. So what I'll do is immediately I'll call upon them just to call the panel members.
I would like to invite Mr. Vikram Murthy, ISHRAE Presidential Member, as a moderator.
Intimidate us. So please come forward, sit closer, we can have a better session. So, unless you don't... Never mind. So here, inviting all the panelists one by one, and we have a nice range, diversity of panelists. Is from the Energy Management Center in Kerala. Welcome, sir. Asim Goyal, also from the Breed. He is GM Business Development. Asim. What about more recently, all the telecom systems we use, including our smartphones? That's a utility as well. And so is the internet. But there are some things which we hold very dear as personal things which we like to decide how we use them ourselves. One of them is automobiles and motorcycles. We want to own them ourselves. We want to run them the way we run them. And so we're not willing to give up that opportunity to use a public utility of transportation. What about air conditioning? We would like to have our own air conditioners, so nobody decides what temperature that air conditioner will run at. So this is where the state of mind situation way. So I'm going to begin with this audience question. So there's a question, and there are three alternatives, at the end of which, by a show of hands, you can say which you think is the right answer. So what will accelerate the introduction of district cooling in India? Will it be a government policy that mandates district cooling for a large single group multi-building facility? Will it be private developers who adopt district cooling as a business opportunity? And finally, will it be large companies and institutions collaborating to take up district cooling as a means to reduce energy costs and meet decarbonization goals? How many believe it's the first one, that the government policy will orchestrate this? How many of you believe the government policy will orchestrate it? Okay, I see that. And the next one is over here. Private developers who will encourage this and decide that this is the way they should go forward. How many of you believe that's the answer? Okay, good. And how many of you believe that companies and utilities and groups of buildings which are there together, like Mr. Ahuja told you, now can come together and they can orchestrate district cooling? How many of you think that will happen? So we have a fair show of hands for all of these. And so you're right. So all of these will allow this to happen. So I'm going to begin with my first question to Asim, because he's the one who's practicing district cooling across the world. And so, Asim, here is my question to you, the first one. So, since you're doing such a large number of cooling projects in the MENA, the Middle East and North Africa region, in this region that has the largest expansion of district cooling. What is your comparison? Because in this district too, and this areas too, there are single central plant buildings. They are supplied. And what do you think is your observation of the growth of district cooling in the Middle East? So before you start, I wish to say that all our answers can be brief so we can have more questions. So Asim, over to you.
Sure, sir. Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And to answer this question from Vikram, sir, the benefits of district cooling, what we have seen in Middle East. So specifically, if you talk about benefits, for example, with respect to better efficiency, better management of refrigerants, all these things are applicable in other parts of the world as well. One key difference is whatever we are talking in India has already become evident in Middle East. For example, one very beautiful thing about district cooling is the way it lends itself for integration with various other sustainable infrastructure developments in urban areas. While we are still talking about it in India, in UAE we have already seen these examples. For example, where our office is located in Masdar city in Abu Dhabi, there is a geothermal, powered district cooling plant that we are running. So 10% of that energy required by district cooling plant is coming from geothermal energy. There are ways in which, spaces are being freed up that are being used for solar panels. There are projects where solar panels are being used to charge thermal energy storage tanks, which are then being used to provide cooling during nighttime. So these are the multiple examples in which, the benefits that we are talking about have already become evident. As far as the growth of the market is concerned, yes, compared to if you see the GDP growth in those countries, which is still say around 4% per annum, growth in district cooling market is around twice that. And primarily it's coming from newer and newer developments. So any new development there by default has district cooling without being a regulation in place. So sometimes we think that district cooling happened because of regulation there. But the market itself adopted district cooling. So all new developments certainly are coming up with district cooling. Even existing developments, whenever there is a end of life coming up for equipment, there are ways and means in which the cooling demand is being aggregated and more district cooling systems are being planned.
Okay.
So I'll stop here.
Right, thank you very much. So now we'll go across to a government organization which is trying to take a lead forward in the state of Maharashtra. And I'm going to ask Deepak Khandare of Mahapreet this question. So Deepak, since you represent Mahapreet, a Maharashtra state-owned company for renewable energy and infrastructure technology, and Maharashtra cities are facing energy stress due to the rising cooling demand on account of so many developments in those cities. So, district coolings are a solution. So, what are Mahapreet's plans to implement district cooling? And do you think that you can integrate DCS with energy transition strategies in the state of Maharashtra? Deepak, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the organizer for inviting me this for panel discussion. It's my honor and pleasure to be here. So coming to the question, Mahapreet is basically government organization which works in the decarbonization, sustainability, and DCS is one of the cornerstone of our strategy. So what we are developing here is for DCS, we are identifying the high potential area in the Maharashtra, mainly new upcoming areas, mainly Navi Mumbai, Pune, MMR regions.
Deepak, sorry to interrupt you. Can you hold the mic a little closer? Yeah. Thanks.
Am I audible? Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes, good. Yeah.
So we are also identifying here mainly potential area, high potential areas where the DCS can be employed. Mainly these regions are in Mumbai metropolitan area, Pune, near Pune, Nagpur, or new industrial developments which are coming in the Maharashtra. Secondly, we are also planning to introduce new financial models if required for the promoting of these CAS services. Then thirdly, we are preparing the standard document which is required for providing the DCS services, because DCS services are very different and new to the Maharashtra, new to the India. So we are preparing with the international organization, national organization experts, the detailed tender document, RFP document, so that can be used for every particular projects. Lastly, for implementation projects, we are also facilitating the service provider with the government organization, various ROW permissions, as well as the tariff required, special tariff required. We are also planning to get the special tariff category for DCS. So these are the various initiatives which Mahapreet has started for on the DCS. Coming to the second part about the energy transition. So energy transition, so we are, since DCS can be clubbed with the renewable energy as well as thermal storage, we are looking for with the cooling services which can be clubbed with the solar power, wind power, or any renewable power, and thermal storage as an advantage. Since these two also provides the low carbon energy, as well as we can shift the peak demand, which is very much required in Maharashtra because peak demand is very high, and that can be easily, with the thermal storage, new thermal storage, that can be also shifted to when the renewable energy production is very high. Secondly, we can also provide the cash. We are promoting cash as a services because this helps the owners to reduce the capex, because near about 30% capex can be reduced by the developers or the building owners, and 24/7 quality supply can be provided by the cash services. Then just transition and energy jobs. Because since the Mahapreet is the government, we have also obligation to provide the skills, to develop the skills of the people which is required for designing, implementing these cash services or DCS services.
Right.
So in overall, so Mahapreet is has this DCS in center part of the Mahapreet for decarbonization.
Well, thank you very much. So district cooling, while it seems to be a great idea and it should have been rolled out long back, there are several challenges of all kinds, and we'd like to hear more about that. So challenges are opportunities, really speaking. A challenge is always an opportunity. So I'm now going to talk to Aun Abdullah, who is very much a part of Lodha. And Lodha recently had its flagship project, Pallava. It's 4,500 acres in the township of Dombivli. With such a large outlay of mainly residential apartments, has Lodha considered deploying district cooling? And do you think it would be a convenient utility? So I will end my question there, and you can expand.
Sir, yes. The answer is yes. We have evaluated quite deeply in terms of putting DCS once in 2012, 2015, and again in 2019. So there are several problems. I will go with the top few. So first is that we have not been able to find one district cooling provider who is willing to take the responsibility of the sizing of the load. We do not think that we have any expertise or data which tells us very clearly that what is the energy consumption related to air conditioning in residential households. Now, we are currently doing a program in which we are slicing the overall kilowatt hour into its component parts, and we are finding that the numbers are not exactly what the district cooling ecosystem is highlighting. Yeah, so the numbers are as low as 20%, 15% also. Palava also happens to be an affordable housing society, and that's in the part of the frugal, ownership mindset. So people there are not using air conditioning to a very high degree.
Yeah.
The real benefit of district cooling actually comes when you have mixed use.
Correct.
You have commercial and as well as residential, and the timing is also different. Now, this opportunity at scale we have not been able to establish. One very important point is that because of this smaller load, the cooling density in a typical cluster is very low.
Yeah.
And therefore, the piping that you have to do
Huge
actually goes very far.
Yeah.
So the capex of reticulation, which is a smaller percentage of the overall capex, say 15% in this case is going way up like 65%, especially owing to the basalt strata that we have.
Okay.
All of these things are adding up. And one last point that I would like to make, I mean, I have a blog which lists down all these problems, but one last point which is not there is that there is no utility. So take the case of electricity. Who provides electricity? There is a utility company.
Right.
They have their sizing guidelines. If you look at water, it is provided by municipalities, and there are those sizing guidelines. Whenever this district cooling discussion comes up, the risks is completely shifted to a developer who does not own the data for the energy used by the residents, and neither the utility nor the district cooling provider is interested to own that up.
Yeah.
I think ultimately the district cooling will definitely pick up, and it should. Companies like, say, Adani, companies like, say, Tata Power, or fundamentally a utility company, which is capturing all the data through their smart meters, they will get this mature data in place, which will help them to size it in the best possible manner and deliver cooling. Thanks.
Good, that was very nice. So you have led me very nicely into the question I'm going to ask Mr. Srinivasan, who is from Adani. So here is your question, Srinivasan, taking up from Aun Abdullah, or a little modified version of that is what I'm going to ask you. So Srinivasan, since you're from Adani, what areas do you foresee as the future of DCS business in India, and what do you see as major risks or pitfalls? And related to that, what do you think are the advocacy requirements? Because there are a lot of organizations which have to support you in all of this, whether it is the regulator, the government, or the end user. And leading forward from that, all of these questions are actually the same thing. What are your plans for district cooling in the future? Srinivasan, yeah. Just take the mic a little closer. Is it working? Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving this opportunity. So the first part of the question. So when we evaluate in our experience for a district cooling system to make it more viable, so we found about 4,000 TR capacity and above is the most viable cases for the district cooling system. So in addition to that, so when we do the working, and we found and we categorize these three type of a project. The first type of a project, so which is a commercial project, so that is in a same campus where we have a multiple buildings and whose capacity is more than 4,000 TR or 5,000 TR. So this is the first kind of a project. And as Mr. On said, so then the second kind of a project, so which would be a mixed use kind of application, so where we have a multiple type of application and we get a benefit of a group diversity. And then the third type of a project, so which would be a large projects, maybe a data center or the airport kind of application. So in airports, what we are doing, we are combining both airside requirement and city side requirement and making it a big district cooling system. So these are the ways forward for the district cooling system. These are the opportunities what we foresee. And with respect to the risk, which is the second part, as Mr. On said, so at the time of commissioning and once district cooling system is operational, so the difference in cooling demand, what we estimated at the time of calculating the tariff and at the time of actual operation or the occupancy, so that difference in the occupancy is a type of a risk. And again, in the calculation, so we do consider the ramp up. For example, in the first year of operation, so it may be 50% occupancy, and in the second year maybe 75% occupancy. For some reasons, if that occupancy does not happen, so that's another type of a risk. And any delay in the project, so which would be a capex overrun. So all these are like a few risks which I would like to highlight. But having said that, so these risks are manageable with a proper mitigation plan.
Right. Good, good. Very nice. So you can see there is some sense of optimism and there is some sense of pushback. But certainly I think anything new takes some time, and all of this requires a lot of nudging, a lot of interest, a lot of application. India is not like Saudi Arabia or Dubai or the Middle East, because we have comfortable seasons also during the year where so much of cooling load may not be there. So all this diversity has to be factored into whoever provides this service. But let's go now to Mr. Hari Kumar from the state of Kerala, because the whole thing about district cooling, it must not be seen to serving just the elite or those who can afford it, but because they can afford it, then we make it cheaper, we make it easier, we make it low carbon, make it low energy, and in the end, the beneficiary is just those same very guys. So we must look upon it as a whole big social obligation too, that when we are providing cooling, is there something going to be happening as cooling for thermal comfort and various things like that, which states and governments have to think about when they roll out their policy. So I'm going to ask Hari Kumar from the Energy Management Center in Kerala, considering the large impact district cooling will have, has the Energy Management Center in Kerala, do you have plans to study its aspects and propose policies for implementation for, shall we say, cooling as a service or district cooling or thermal comfort for large networks or places of occupation which require cooling? And it's going to reduce significantly the energy use. And will this allow easy monitoring and regulation for cooling energy for large network of user buildings? Hari Kumar.
Okay, thank you. In fact, a couple of months back, we initiated a high-level discussion in inviting the government stakeholders and private sector people also on this particular topic. So when we started talking about district cooling, and the government official, the PWD, the city, country, town planning of people, they started telling that we need a district collector, revenue, RDO, etc. on the dais. Because if the Alleppey or Ernakulam district has to be cooled fully, then we need to bring them, the administrators. So the district cooling, the name itself is a misnomer, we believed. So district cooling, maybe it's applicable in Europe or Middle East, but in India, when we talk about bringing government officials, it is very difficult for us. So we requested our consultants and our supporters, the SE for All and AAA, who brought the Tabri, Adani and Urja people on the dais. So we told them that we had to first of all change the name.
Yes.
So we are calling it as a shared cooling infrastructure instead of
nice.
district cooling.
That's very interesting.
So shared cooling, so that government people will little bit understand. Otherwise, our district collector and police superintendent and all these people have to come for cooling the entire district. Now, having said that, in addition to what Mahapreet has mentioned, we are also, we did a desktop assessment of our application in Kerala. Being a highly population density is there is good applicability for this. But we have some brownfield and greenfield projects as well as some retrofit. Retrofitting, there is a challenge because I am yet to find some confident people who can supply the equipment and take it as a turnkey project. But in greenfield, yes. So we are also trying to talk with our regulatory commission to get a special tariff for this shared cooling infrastructure projects, some industry tariff or something like that, so that it will help them in that. Then second one, we are also contemplating to bring out a guideline or a advisory note to tell that for a particular, let us say 1500 TR above commercial, or let us say 9000 TR above residential, or a combined, let us say 5000 or 7000 TR above. So that has to necessarily go towards shared cooling infrastructure.
Right.
And cooling as a service, yes, of course, we need to educate our architects also, first of all, because their cost of their fees depending upon the project cost. Now, when cooling as a service, we are talking about the project cost, capital is taken out from the client. So how the architects community also, we have to educate. So I think there is good scope for the shared cooling, particularly in the state of Kerala.
So that's very nice. He's brought a new term into our discussion, which is called shared cooling. And sometimes just a name can be a good nudge to change the way we look at things. And certainly as a country which has such diverse requirements of everything, but at the same time has to decarbonize, this could be a way forward. So now I'm going to turn to Senthil because there may be an opportunity for something which has a huge cooling demand. You know, it has cooling needs all the time. So Senthil, you are from the ISHRAE group of companies. You have carried out multiple projects. Some of them may have on-site renewable as well as green power electric supply. So you are also doing very large outlays in the state of Maharashtra and around Bombay. Many of them have large clients who might be doing data center cooling integrated with multiple use projects. So do you see an opportunity there? Because this load is a continuous one and there may be a good method of doing it for that. So what are your plans towards this, which will help in decarbonizing all these facilities and projects and bring down the need to bring in far more energy into the city of Mumbai than it already has and it already demands? Senthil. Yeah. Mic is working.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting for me. We are Rageja Group. We are having 4 major vertical, leaving the residential, commercial, and mall, and we have hotel, and we have a data center.
Right.
So in this majorly data center we do infra, but commercial, yes. As of now, we are almost 90,000 to 1 lakh tonnage of air conditioning we are running throughout country, but it is actually in a cluster.
Okay.
So when we are thinking about having a district cooling in our portfolio, mainly our concern to get the space. Second, like Lodha having the right service provider to give us the solution. Third, how to fix up a tariff, because the government doesn't have any tariff method as of now fixed for commercial users. Fourth and foremost important, who is going to own the plant? Is it actually us or the cars? That means, like Adani or Tata, whomever. So these are all the initial stage of challenges, and we are also encounter the same kind of problem in every cluster, like Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, and Chennai. So that is one part. Second part, for data center, generally we do infra, and we are not getting into the cooling side. Yes, if at all the client asks for it, then we will tie up with the relevant district cooling operators. But for decarbon and for our own structure, all our buildings are almost coming to the cycle of 20-year lifetime. So 20 years before design, we are actually making it of much better solutions with a selection of chillers, or even go for a combined cool or share like with another service provider. So we are planning to upgrade within a complex where we can go for it more than 5,000 or 6,000 tonnage of capacity. Most probably in our during future projects we may go for it, number one. Then we are adapting for how to control the energy through various factors. One is we have IMOC, which will have a complete control on the building consumptions.
Right.
Second, we are having energy conservation on a selection of items or equipments, chiller, pumps, and the line items. So these are all the method what we are adopting for future projects. That's how Rageja is planning for.
Good, good. Thank you very much. So now I'm going to turn to Vivek Mahajan, as a consultant, UEDC. MEP consultants. So, Vivek, you are certainly in a position to encourage this business as a person who can recommend. So, I'm going to give you a hypothetical question. So, a new airport in Navi Mumbai is opening soon. It is air conditioned by a very large central plant. So this is hypothetical, so all my statements may not be factual because it's a hypothetical question. So it's air conditioned by a very large central plant, but around it several complexes of shopping and malls and hotels and entertainment, and all of these things are going to come up, and they are under construction too, including a lot of residential property, which we can call the Aero Complex, the third new city of Mumbai. So each of these can have its own central cooling plant and other building services. If you were appointed the MEP consultant of one or more of these other buildings, not the airport, would you be happy to welcome a district cooling plant to serve this building and others? And if yes, why would you?
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. So I would use this as a comprehensive as well as an integrated approach to analyze.
A little closer to the mic. Yeah.
So I would use like a comprehensive and integrated approach to analyze if we need a district cooling versus a independent building having their own chiller plants. So it's definitely district cooling is the way forward for such a large complexes where we have a tremendous amount of air conditioning that has to be set up. Now let's just take a couple of numbers that what we have seen, and everybody I'm sure we all understands. So 1 kilowatt, 1 ton of air conditioning typically consumes energy from anywhere between 0.8 to let's say 1.2, 1.4 kilowatt per ton, depends upon what kind of an air conditioning systems that we use. Now this 1 ton of air conditioning generates about 500 to 800 kilograms of CO2 equivalent emissions every year. Just 1 ton. Now think about of when we have like such a large complexes, if every owner starts putting their own air conditioning, it's not a consolidated amount of carbon emission is going to be tremendously high. And the focus what we are talking about is, which is decarbonization, will not meet. So if you see like a district cooling plants, integrated such approach, we can reduce almost 30 to 40% very easily. And that has been said, and this is from one of my projects where we have done this all analysis. So now, similarly like, kg CO2 equivalent that we reduce from 500, 800 to 250 to 400 kg, equivalent per ton per year. So that's about like a 35-40%. And if we have a district cooling plant, which is an integrated further towards a waste generated from on site, and this waste generated, which is collected because such a large complexes is going to be having like a huge waste, either organic, either other, right? So if we have like a waste to energy plant, which is also sitting very, very close proximity, we can have like a waste to energy also getting generated. Combining and integrating this all approach with a solar, so one of the model that we did, we were able to make it like 150 kg CO2 equivalent emissions. So think about like from 800, we are like modeling and reducing it to like almost 150 something. So it's a definitely way forward that we should look for. There is a tremendous saving. That's an enormous benefits if we talk about for such a large, complexes. The first of course, it's an energy efficient. We can always select a high energy efficient chillers instead of like, individual owners chiller, individual owners where they talk about like a quick turnaround of the rate, ROI, because capex is one of the biggest problem. And all individual owners has to install, standalone chillers as well. So which is going to go further increase the capital cost, and as well as, multiple repetitive units. The other problem that what we have seen is, which is urban heat island effect, which is one of the biggest problem. Think about like you go any sort of such areas, such complexes, you will see at least some sort of a temperature variation. There is going to be like a 1 or 2 degree high. So how it is happening? Everybody has their own building, cooling towers, condenser units, throwing everything in the atmosphere, and what's happening? The result is all with us. In the peak summer season, we go to close certain buildings, we feel like it's damn hot here. And you reach out certain places which are like a green parks, it's damn comfortable. So district cooling is also the solution for that, because we can consolidate and we can make it and close in a one, a dedicated zone, and then we can further treat it. So urban heat island effect is also can be easily manageable with that.
Good.
Now in terms of operational costs, in terms of maintenance, district cooling helps us to save a lot. We have seen like all individual buildings, there are a lot of control strategies that has been done and designed
Vivek,
well.
in the interest of time, can you?
I'll just
finish
cut
quickly,
short.
yeah.
There's a lot, so a lot of things covered. So
we have a time constraint.
So control strategy can be a better just to ensure we achieve a high kilowatt per ton and reduce the carbon emissions. So yes, answer, and I would say district cooling for such complexes is definitely an optimal, sustainable, and way forward.
Good. That's wonderful. Thank you. So we have some successful district cooling projects in India. One of them is the gift city of Ahmedabad, which has now been running for some time. It went through its hiccups. It's now rolling forward. But certainly, as Vivek said, there are so many other good things about district cooling. It can reduce waste. It can reduce the heat island effect. Another good thing it can do is can set up a very large thermal storage, which has been done in the gift city, 10,000 ton hours. So all these things are there, and then you get a lot of free cooling. So I will turn lastly to another big project which is coming up in the state of Andhra Pradesh. The state of Andhra Pradesh and the state of Telangana have been front runners apart from Gujarat in encouraging district cooling. So I am going now to Ravi, to you, and you're an infra expert for the Andhra Pradesh Capital Region Development Authority. So I went to Amravati not very long back to a large university over there, and I visited the whole river bank of the mighty river Krishna, along which this wonderful new city of Amravati is coming along. So it's going to be a beautiful city. All the great cities of the world are on the banks of some river, and so this is great. It produces cooling on its own. So you have plans for doing all of this over there in the state of in Amravati. But as you start this project, the state is the user. The legislature and the judiciary are going to be the beneficiaries of the first district cooling phase 1. So then the government is the buyer. It is also the one who uses this. So is there, in your mind, a financial model which justifies this use? Because there is no end user client who is going to be footing this bill. So what is the reasons why you think this is good? But I was very happy to hear from Mr. Ahuja that the plan is to roll this out all over the city. So you can throw some light on that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me today. This is a pertinent question actually. Why district cooling? Because we are heating, that's why we require cooling. So the cooling is why district cooling compared to other individual units. The reason being, first of all, we are reducing the power consumption. Like whatever 1.2 kilowatts, it is coming to 0.7 to 0.8. And once we go for a city level, where government of Andhra Pradesh has initiated for this district cooling, we want to make this consumption less and also benefit the consumers. And first consumer is government. That's why we have taken up. In fact, I would like to mention what is we are doing in the government of Andhra Pradesh, Amaravati capital city. It is a new capital city which we are building. It is in 273 square kilometers. And the entire city has been divided into 8 theme cities, whether it is education city, hospital city, commercial city, and a government complex, what we call central business district in some way where. So these are different districts have been created. They are cities internally. And whole planning has been done meticulously to reduce our energy consumption. In spite of that, wherever our AGC is coming, Amaravati government complex, our assembly, our high court, and then our HOD offices, they require cooling. And anyway, we have to pay to the distribution company.
Right.
Right? So ultimately, the regulatory authority will ask us to pay the amount to the distribution company. So where we can leverage, we are saving the energy, we are saving the electricity consumption by having district cooling here.
Good.
So that is the first thing we are taking up, but it is not enough. It is only a 20,000 to 25,000 RT we are taking up now initially, but
Okay,
it will
while
continue.
being mindful, you can please continue, yeah.
It will continue because it is coming to 2.2 million tons of requirement. If you take only government complex, it comes to roughly about 1 lakh tons minimum. So there is a huge potential, so which we have to segregate. But for this, we require 2 or 3 things which I would like to highlight.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
The very important thing is, just like we have been discussing, we have to make it mandatory by regulation. Otherwise, it should be made as a service by the government. If the government means we have a capital city government, if we have to make a regulation, we are in the process of making a regulation for the Amaravati government complex and other areas where you have to use district cooling only for the energy as far as their cooling requirements are concerned. So the moment we can do it, automatically they are forced to use it. And we are also going to have consultations with the people, and then we have to convince them, and this is the process which we are doing it. So it is not an easy task, because they are to be convinced that their consumption levels will come down, their power charges will come down. That is the first thing. Second thing is planning, because district cooling cannot happen just like individually buildings are getting constructed everywhere. There should be a sufficient mass.
Yes.
That sufficient mass to happen, we have to have a planning. So we planned our city in such a way, the mixed use development to be encouraged. So many areas in different cities, in these cities means within the capital city, we have encouraged, we have planned in such a way that the mixed use development is encouraged, and then there are high rise, there are more FSIs, and then lower SFIs, and then residential, commercial, as well as other uses are also coming together. And in addition to that, we have transit-oriented development.
Okay.
So wherein these 3 aspects, which will have a sufficient mass to have the district cooling. So these are the 2 aspects which I'd like to highlight to you. And first of all, finally, I'd like to mention one thing. As a part of energy decarbonization, energy reduction, the entire city has been planned beautifully, where we have been talking about smart city and other things. The city is planned everywhere you can walk. Within 5 minutes walk, you can get any facility within this. So the local level, neighborhood, and then city level. So everywhere parks are there. 26%. To be 26% is allocated for blue and green. Green means open spaces and parks and trees. And then blue means the entire canal system we have developed in such a way, it is also making the atmosphere cool. Apart from that, the entire streetscape has been designed for the entire 2,500 kilometers of road network. We have planned for plantation. This plantation will reduce the temperature up to 3 to 4 degrees centigrade.
Good.
So these are the elements which we have to see in our planning. So planning is more important. After planning, we have to implement it properly so that we will reduce our requirements of energy. In the process, district cooling is also required. Finally, we have to make a plan. First thing is we have to make a target for our carbon reductions, either at a city level or at government level. Respective city levels can make it, ULBs or the government. Next thing is what is renewable energy requirements, because this district cooling also requires energy, because it cannot come so easily. District cooling plant also will consume electricity, will consume water. We have to supply water, we have to supply energy. So this energy can be met with renewable energy sources. At the same time, we have to see that the district cooling also, the network which we are planning, which cannot be done so easily in a brown city, because it is a greenfield city we are able to do. In brown city, we have to see the mapping of energy consumption, where we can have minimum mass or maximum mass, and accordingly we have to provide the network so that district cooling can take place.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Very good, good. Thank you very much. So you can see on this note of positivity. So I've been told we have a very short time left, but I do wish to engage the audience for at least 1 or 2 questions. But just before that, I would love to carry this on for another 1 hour, but that's not possible. So Deepak has a question, and each of you in the panel will answer very quickly. 20 seconds is preferable, and then we will go for some audience questions. We have 8 or 9 minutes left. So Deepak, let's do this fast.
Yeah, okay. A small question. Why is it that no service provider industry wants to get into this? Is it viable? Is it ROIs are okay? Can we answer that?
So we can do that with those who are the developers or the consultants.
And just don't take more than 2 minutes on this.
So Bala, you start. Yeah.
No,
Quick.
No, for us actually, number one, the space. Second one is the tariff regulations.
So maybe even the participants agreed that the additional support in case of a district cooling system, so the land which is required for the district cooling and also the ROW, so which has to be planned in the master planning. So that is the take from my side.
Yeah, anyone else?
Yeah, I would say that service providers are also looking into it. For example, DISCOMs.
Yes.
It's not the case that they are not looking into it. They desperately want to get into it. DISCOMs have approached us to help them set up district cooling systems in the areas where they are facing a huge problem of load shedding. But the problem is that they are also not, for while they can still give us a plot of land, while they can still ensure the availability of power and water, they do not know what lies underneath. In the already existing developments, there is one example that has happened in, say, Marina Bay Sands area in Singapore, but in India, if you need to plan, neither the PWD nor the local authority nor the DISCOM would have a foolproof mapping of what lies underneath to be able to provide a right-of-way.
Okay, thanks, Asim. Vivek, you want to add?
I guess,
quick, yeah.
Yeah, it's more about like educating and getting people aware about. It's definitely going to be the next in demand. The way our smart cities, the way our Indian urban development is happening. So it's just like, a combination of policy forming, and definitely we are looking at like many of the private players also. They'll come for sure.
Okay, you would like to add or no, either of you? Yeah.
So unless we have large-scale disaggregated data sets, we will not be able to do it at scale.
Okay.
So nobody will do it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, all of you. Is there any other comment? Otherwise, we will. This patient audience has been good. The numbers have swelled from 4 tables to all of the tables. So we can take 2 questions. Manda, can we? Yeah. Okay. So any of you wants to ask any question? The more difficult the question, the better, because there may be no answers. Yeah. But very short. Yeah.
Okay. I'm from Bangalore. Now, we are looking at all tech parks which are just about 15 years, 20 years old.
Madhukar, keep the question short. So that
how do we look at retrofit option of district cooling systems for existing tech park towers?
So who would like to take that answer? Anyone? Yeah, Vivek?
Yeah,
a short answer.
I guess it's surely possible. It's going to be, again, a very advanced level of system that one has to adopt. Somewhere down the line, we are laying metros, which is all going from the, underground in the center of the cities. So it's definitely feasible. We might have to go underground, removing existing chillers, whatever extra, allocating a land, go underground, connect to the existing shafts, wherever it is. So heating, centralized heating and cooling is quite possible even in brownfield. There are challenges, but it's an opportunities to set an example for the future. Okay, good, thank you. Is there any other question? Yeah, I think this is the last question because we have to conclude this. Yeah, I'm sorry, but you can engage with these guys once the session is over. Yeah.
Yeah, so my question is that, we got most of the time from this discussion that the data of any greenfield or brownfield projects are lacking with the actual practical conditions. So why can't we use a technology like digital twin where it can be utilized, where we can use the existing building patterns, which can be translated? That is the number one question. And
no, only one question.
Okay, I'll just add on this and that, that if Bureau of Energy representative is here, if government specifically say, boss, anything above, say, 1 lakh square feet needs to be catered through district cooling system, it can be implemented. What will be the challenges for that?
Okay. So I'll answer that question to you because I can give the quick answer. So then in the new National Building Code and so on, all of this is being put into as provisions. So I think I would like to conclude because there's another panel after this. But as an encouragement for all of you sitting over here, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency is going to be the big forward nudging organization in India, apart from everybody else who would like to have it done or not done, whatever. So the Bureau of Energy Efficiency is setting up a virtual district cooling hub in which some of us are going to be advisors. So that will be good for all of you to collaborate there, to learn from it, to contribute from it, to suggest how we should take our whole country forward. And not very long back, during the G20, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency released a district cooling guideline, which was edited by ISHRAE, your esteemed organization. I hope all of you are members. So that district cooling guide can be downloaded by you for free. It was written by IEEE. So I'm requesting Mandar to put up a QR code. If you take a picture, photo, you can download that guide. And so to conclude, I thank all of the panelists here. They've been wonderful. I'm sure you all agree. Do you all agree? Who doesn't agree? Put up his hand. Good. There's one disagreement. Never mind. So there could have been a lot of good engagement over here, but we couldn't do that. Mandar, you can put up that. There it is. Yeah. So if you want to capture it, you can.
Reduce it.
Oh, it's too big. Okay, he will do it at the end.
You can take it from him.
Okay. Okay, Mandar, and you can come. Yeah.
Let me just take this opportunity of thanking the panel. And you also need to do a lot of thinking on this and see how it can be implemented. Thank you.
Thank you all the panelists for the valuable insight and diverse perspective. हम डीकार्बनाइजेशन हमको क्यों करना पड़ा, जस्ट इसके लिए एक छोटा सा महात्मा गांधी का कोट है, पृथ्वी पर व्यक्ति की ज़रूरतें पूरी करने के लिए पर्याप्त संसाधन देती है, लेकिन हर व्यक्ति के लालच के लिए नहीं. From this I will end this session and I will request our session chair Mr. Deepak Verma to facilitate Mr. Vikram Murthy.
No, I'm the last. Next, yeah.
Sir, starting from...
Okay, fine. You should first felicitate all three guys. Yeah, please.
Sir, as you wish.
I'm the last guy. Yeah. Come, Deepak just pick them up. You come. You also come. Yeah, I'm also coming. Yeah.
Mr. R. Hari Kumar. Mr. Asim Goyal. Mr. Vivek Mahajan. Mr. V. Srinivasan. Mr. Deepak Khandare. Mr. Senthilraj Balachandran. Mr. Aun Abdullah. Mr. Vikram Murthy.
Okay, I'm taking it myself.
And to felicitate Mr. Deepak Verma, I would like to invite Mr. Kapil Meghrani to come on the dais.